Picture this. You successfully launched the new venture. Everyone called it your baby. But 1 year in, just after you returned to home branch and turned the venture over to the new management team, the KPIs start tanking, the product market fit is failing, and the venture is aggressively bleeding capital. The board of directors is demanding a mercy killing, wanting to write it off as a fatal error and manage the fallout.
When failure becomes imminent, the natural executive instinct is to panic, liquidate, and start drafting the public relations post-mortem. But Scripture demands a completely different operational posture. In 2 Kings chapter 4, we discover a rigid, multi-stage crisis management protocol engineered to restore a failing portfolio. It is the definitive blueprint for an executive portfolio resurrection. Disruption and growth must now pause, because recovery requires intensive care. Let's open the text.
The root of corporate decay often begins with premature acceleration. 2 Kings 4:18 states, "And the child grew. Now it happened one day that he went out to his father with the reapers." First, we see that the growing venture was placed under the authority of the reapers. Reapers are staff that have a heavy appetite. They are accustomed to extracting yield instead of cultivating growth. They do not move with care and protection. Their desire to fill their quota creates a harsh environment that can unintentionally crush an immature business line.
When a division bleeds capital, conventional corporate strategy demands aggressive restructuring. You immediately place the asset under ruthless, high-capacity managers who drive yield at all costs. You leverage the asset to the hilt. If the venture flatlines under the pressure, you spin the public relations narrative, write off the loss, and liquidate the remains to satisfy the shareholders.
That worldly approach destroys future value. When a business portfolio is still young, it is susceptible to volatility. It should remain in a greenhouse for nurturing and care until it develops sufficient strength and immunities to withstand market pressure. This division was released too early and sent under inappropriate leadership. Remember the parable of the sower in Matthew 13. The seed on shallow ground sprouted early, but because it lacked deep roots, it withered under the heat of the sun. The temptation to reap too early must be resisted.
When the crisis struck, the father in this story was notified, and he returned the child to the mother, the natural nurturer. But the early attempts to restore proper care were not realizing gains. In verse 19 and 20 we read, "The servant carried him to his mother. When he took him, his mother sat him on her knees till noon, and then he died." Yes, the responsibility was literally placed back in her lap, but unfortunately, it was too late for coddling. The silence of the flatline must have been deafening. Could you imagine the pain, the embarrassment, the fear of being misjudged? This is the moment most executives draft the press release to announce the failure. But to turn this crisis around, the text demands strict discipline.
2 Kings 4:21 and 23 reveal a masterclass in crisis management. "And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, shut the door upon him, and went out. And she said, 'It is well.' She shut the door to conceal the challenges, then proceeded to find competent help. She did not pronounce the child as dead, and she did not dress in black and start weeping. Even when probed by her husband, she proclaimed that all is well." In this stage, managing public disclosures is crucial. Guard your words, and do not reveal your struggles to the broader market.
This principle of operational silence crescendos when the prophet declared that even the Lord hid the matter from him. Even the ultimate authority refused to reveal the secret before the right time. When Gehazi was delegated to look into the crisis, he also received strict instructions. Do not talk to anyone. Do not even respond politely to a greeting. Observe strict operational silence. And most importantly, never declare it dead. By refusing to declare the failure with her words, she retained the hope of a reversal. Notice the choice words from Gehazi. He stated the child has not awakened. He didn't say the child remains dead. Christ observed the exact same principle with Lazarus, proclaiming he was sleeping. When a company is facing a fatal threat, guard your corporate language. When you label the problem incorrectly, you can do massive harm.
The revival was not easy. The father couldn't do it, nor the mother, nor the right hand of the prophet. Only the most competent and capable leader can execute a turnaround. Gehazi laid his staff on the face of the child, but it was too late to simply save face that won't get the job done. Elisha, the chief executive in this scenario, recognized that the whole body needed attention. The leader executing a recovery must stretch himself to cover every department, every silo, and every division. 2 Kings 4:34 provides the exact sequence of a corporate resurrection. And he went up and lay on the child, and put his mouth on his mouth, his eyes on his eyes, and his hands on his hands. And he stretched himself out on the child, and the flesh of the child became warm.
This is where standard corporate practice tells you to hold the line. A true executive would never undermine the chain of command. You allow information to filter up through the proper channels. You avoid wasting your valuable time talking to line staff who have little strategic value. The conventional business philosophy puts the CEO in the corner office to act as the face of the company. You lay down a new mandate, demand accountability, and let middle management execute the messy work.
But the biblical model shatters that ivory tower. Notice the exact order of Elisha's actions. First, his mouth. Speak directly to the line staff. Do not wait for the management layers to translate your words throughout the organization. Frame the turnaround yourself. You cannot afford the luxury of assumption when managing an existential crisis.
During a crisis, the words of the leader can mean the difference between life and certain death. In World War II, Winston Churchill is famous for shifting the momentum of the battle and reigniting the fighting spirit of the forces. His words are forever engraved in history as one of his most famous declarations, which came after the fall of France when he boldly declared, "We shall never surrender."
Second, his eyes. Get a clear view. Go to the factory floor. Personally visit the individual departments to get a first-hand perspective of what is actually happening, not what the reports tell you is happening. Third, his hands. Get your hands in the work. Roll up your sleeves and help to fix the structural problems. Do not just wait for delegated staff to do it.
Elon Musk is famous for using these strategies. When Tesla was on the edge of bankruptcy, he didn't just visit the factory, he actually slept on the factory floor. He literally stretched himself across the organization to get a first-hand understanding of the challenges. Even Napoleon was known for his presence on the front line of the most intense battlefields. These prominent worldly figures unknowingly practiced biblical principles. They invested skin in the game to effectively manage the crisis.
Once the metrics show a slight uptick, declare victory. Reassure the markets immediately. Then assert your dominance. Dismantle the prior leadership structure entirely. Absorb the revived division into your own portfolio and claim the glory of the turnaround for yourself.
A truly effective leader must avoid the temptation of declaring an early victory. Be prepared to walk back and forth. Move to the source of the problem, attend the team meetings, and revisit struggling departments again and again if necessary. Notice the child showed warmth early on, but Elisha didn't leave right away. He stuck around until the boy sneezed 7 times. Sneezing is universally recognized as a sign of life. It's the reason, till today, people respond to a sneeze by saying, "Bless you." That's right, he waited until life was confirmed. But the number 7 is symbolic, it's the number of completion. He maintained executive focus until the reward was undeniably affirmed. Only then did he pass the baton. But pay attention, because he didn't send the child back to the reapers. He returned the child to continue the cultivating and nurturing season. Neither did he condemn the prior leadership and force a corporate takeover. He recognized that the rightful authority needed to be restored, and he quietly passed the baton once his job was complete.
A flatlining portfolio does not have to be a fatal blow, but survival requires immense discipline. Keep the asset out of the hands of the reapers until it is ready. When the crisis hits, enforce operational silence, refuse to declare it dead, and leave the ivory tower to execute the turnaround with your own hands.
Business recovery does not end here. To continue your professional development, access the complete Business Bible Study playlist on your screen right now. If you are ready to align your executive strategy with uncompromising kingdom principles, subscribe to Boardroom Bible. Now, remember, leaders don't kill time, they execute. I will see you in the next boardroom meeting.